Hi everybody, welcome back. So today I fancy just talking about all the fragrances that I have, well, just a roundup of all my most recent ones. I've got 3 new fragrances that I haven't actually even opened yet. They were blind buys, so that's nerve-wracking and kind of exciting. So I'm going to open those on camera and we'll do a blind, we'll test them blindly. Yeah, so we'll do that together and see how we go. As well as acquiring some new fragrances, I've also sold about 5 of my fragrances. So, not that I'm trying to justify my purchases here, but there is a kind of number that I like to stick to with my overall collection, and I like to I can teeter around it, go over, slightly under, but I don't like to go too far over. The first purchase I'm going to show you is actually a backup bottle of something I already have. I decided to buy a backup bottle of Eclat. No, it's not Eclat, is it? It's Eclat d'Arpage. The bottle's turned in the box. This fragrance is so affordable, and I use it so much during the summer, during hot weather. It's one you can spray liberally. It's not too strong. Obviously, as I mentioned before, this is a citrus floral, very light and very beautiful. It has main notes of wisteria and lilac. I think there's a tea note in here, but that is Eclat d'Arpage. Absolutely love this one. That's by Lanvin by Delacourte, and this is Smeraldo. And this was part of the musks collection. So this is a musk, but it is far from being a musky fragrance. I bought this because I decided that it'd be one I'd reach for a lot in the summer. It's something so pure and elegant and simple in this fragrance. It's not a big freshie. It's not a summer coconut. It's clean in a kind of watery green way. It is an angelique fragrance. It has a lot of angelique. So what angelique is, obviously, is a plant, but it smells like a slightly bitter green, slightly vanilla-y smell. Yeah, it's a hard one to describe, but it's very beautiful. And there's also lime, I believe. There's just something very herbal, very clean, and very calming about this one. But it doesn't project too strongly, and it's not trying to be too much. Beautiful and calming and cooling as well. It's such a lovely fragrance for the summer. So yeah, I'm really pleased I got this. So that's Smeraldo by Sylvaine Delacourte. So next we have another beautiful fragrance, again one for summer, definitely for spring as well. This is Frangipani by Ormonde Jayne. I got this based on a little sample pack, which I'll actually show you. I've got it, let me just, oh my god, hang on. So I bought the little sample pack. It's called a Petit Fours, or in Ormonde Jayne Petit Four. This was direct from their website, and you can choose any 4 of their scents that you would like as a sample in this Petit Four pack. They're 2 ml samples, and that's a great way to sample this house. And I actually enjoyed all of the samples. I can quickly go through these if you're interested. So these are the 4 that I chose, and I remember choosing Tafe because I'd heard of it before, and Tafe is obviously a rose, so it is a rose fragrance. 2 of these are rose fragrances. Tafe, I think it had a nice mandarin-y opening, if I remember liking it. I didn't love it, I think I liked it. I think it's a musky element. Rose Gold had oud, I believe, and it reminded me of Rose Anonyme from the Atelier Cologne, so that was a nice one as well. Prive was very unusual, nothing I'd ever smelt before. It was a very light, wispy kind of a fragrance, and I think it had a rice note, which made it slightly powdery, and I did really enjoy that one. It was unusual. It was one you've got to try. It kind of sits very lightly on the skin without really being anything. It's a halo of kind of angelic dust. Yeah, that was that one. But obviously Frangipani was my favourite. I've never actually stuck my nose in a Frangipani flower, so I wanted to try a fragrance that was very much dedicated to that flower alone. I'm trying to remember what notes there are in this. I know there is magnolia. I think there's lime. Obviously there's Frangipani. What I love about... Ooh. Okay, what I love about this fragrance is how it reminds me of honeysuckle. And where I grew up, in that little tiny little mini garden, we had a lovely honeysuckle bush and a lovely big magnolia tree. And this fragrance is literally me being in my garden when I was a little girl. Obviously there's more going on with this fragrance. It isn't just that, but it very much embodies those 2 flowers, and it takes me back. So it's a very much a nostalgic fragrance. But with that note of lime in here, it really freshens and brightens it up. And there's also a bit of an almond nuance in here. It's very It's very exotic. It's like being on holiday, although I've never been anywhere that exotic, if I'm honest. I've obviously been somewhere because it makes me feel like I'm on holiday. This is actually my scent of the day. I wore this today. And it's not a strong fragrance. It's not a big projection, but it leaves the most beautiful trail. And every now and again I get a little waft of it, and it's so beautiful. Smell that it's a good quality fragrance. Beautiful fragrance for summer and spring. Yeah, Ormonde Jayne Frangipani. So this is a fragrance by Centauri, brand created by the lovely Peter Carter. He's got his own amazing channel here on YouTube called The Fragrance View. This brand was solely created by Peter, financed, designed, the concept, everything that the brand embodies is done by Peter himself. It's his vision and it's his baby, if you like. And he has 3 fragrances that so far that he's launched. I bought the 3rd fragrance in his brand, and it is called Proxima. There's a whole beautiful concept behind the design and the story of this fragrance. Beautiful bronzing detail. The lid is just a piece of art on its own. It's a lovely heavy design. It reminds me of a Ferrero Rocher. A terrible thing to say because it's so much more than that. And all these little symbols are relevant to his passion and beliefs on our world and the world above. That's a very important part. They look very Egyptian, some of these. I'm not going to pretend to know what they mean. And the camera doesn't really do this bottle justice at all. The light is very dim in here, but this is a beautiful blue. If I had something white behind it, you'd be able to see it. And I could really stare at this bottle forever and just keep finding new things about it that I love. Like how it looks both ancient, like an ancient gem that's been found in a tomb, and both futuristic with all those beautiful markings. Proxima Centauri is the 3rd star in a cluster. I think the nearest star is Alpha Centauri, and I think you've got Alpha Centauri A and B. I don't know if you can read that. I'm getting it really close. Discovering new worlds, new life. And it very much depicts the aspect of future. The scent is a vision of a new world. And how does it smell? It is just the most beautiful tropical fruit scent, but so much more than that. When I first smelt this, I literally closed my eyes and just drifted away. It was like I was in a new place. It sounds so dramatic. You know these picturesque scenes in a film where a new world, they've just landed on a new planet or in just a new untouched island or something like that. There's trees just all around you and fruits that are just ripened, and a beautiful waterfall coming down, and the sky is perfect, and you've got birds just happy and all that kind of thing. And imagine the smell of finding a fruit, dense and creamy. For me, it's genuinely a papaya or fuzzy peach. Like papaya flesh. It's kind of got that more of a succulent kind of thing. You know, it's sweet but succulent. This is smooth and creamy and dense and fleshy. Now, although the fruits I'm talking about aren't even on here, the fruits in here are grapefruit, blackcurrant, strawberry. The strawberry is like this fruit that dances around on the skin. I'm trying to see if I can get those florals. There are florals. They're just further back, and they're sort of softening it slightly and making it even more exotic and even more beautiful. Overall, I do get this kind of papaya, mango, fuzzy peach fruit that's just wrapped up in milk and cream, and there's an airiness around it with a little bit of floral, and it's so exotic and otherworldly because the fruits are just too perfect to be of this earth. Can't deny the niche quality in this. It has a richness, it has a depth, and the performance on this is stellar. On me at least anyway. I wear this and I can smell it from the morning to the evening. So that is the very stunning Proxima by Centauri Perfumes. So in the same week that I discovered Proxima, I also discovered another fragrance that was a love at first sniff. This is by Byredo. Never pronounce anything. This is Bal D Afrique. Now, most people in the fragrance community have heard of this fragrance. It's not a new one. It came out, I think, about maybe 6 years ago now. Is that right? I'd never tried anything in the Byredo line. I was watching the lovely Josephine. Her channel is Je de Rose. But she was talking about the whole house of Byredo and a beginner's guide to the house. And so I just decided to buy a few of the samples. It blew me away, this fragrance. It was just a love at first sniff. It is such a happy, lovely, sunny fragrance, regardless of all the notes. I know what the notes are. This is a mango and butter smoothie with cardamom and pepper. It's a vetiver fragrance. I think it has, does it have sandalwood? It's very sandalwoody to me. There's even a coconut edge to it. I find that with sandalwood, I can often get a coconutty vibe through sandalwood. It's such a beautiful, peppery, cardamom-y, spicy, dances with those spices and notes around this buttery, creamy mango flower. I'm just making crap up, actually. But that's how it smells to me. This fragrance had a colour. It would be like a buttery yellow tan. I've actually worn this so much. The performance isn't great, I've got to say. Get about 3 hours. It just does not last long, which is such a shame. I've just noticed that I'm wearing socks that are exactly the colour of this fragrance. This is, sorry to be kind of weird. Hang on, can you see that? That's my sock. I've just taken it off. So that is Bal D Afrique by Byredo. I'm going to actually give this another spray because it's just so beautiful. That's my scent of the evening. Okay, so this next one is really special. A wonderful lady here on YouTube. We all know her. She is the fabulous Claire from Smurfy Girly. She heard that I was after this fragrance, and very fortunately for me, she offered it as a swap. So we did a swapsy. It's by 4160 Tuesdays, and it is Cloud's Illusion. It's written there on the side. There you go. So this is a fabulous niche brand here in the UK. I'm dying to go there actually and look at all their fragrances. So I'm not too sure on the concept behind the scent, but if it was anything to do with making a happy little fragrance, then they nailed it. Soft and sunny. This is the exception to the rule of me always saying I don't like lemon fragrances. It's like lemon scented fluffy clouds floating along against the blue sky that's sunny. Let's just throw in a rainbow for good measure. Let's just get another scent of this. It's a powdery lemon. It's a lemon puff biscuit with marshmallow, with cotton candy. I'm not American. Candy floss. What I really love about this is that use of orris root. I've noticed a lot of fragrances I love have orris root. It's sort of dense and fluffy at the same time, and it's kind of got a bit of a powdery touch. Thank you, Claire, so much for giving me lemon puffs with marshmallow. Cloud's Illusion by 4160 Tuesdays. Okay, so next up is a very unexpected little blind buy, and it's not that exciting. If you've been in a fragrance a community for a while, this is not an exciting fragrance for you. But it is for me because I hadn't smelt it before I bought it. I decided to give this a go. This is Tom Ford's Velvet Orchid. Now, this Orchid, so this came out as a flanker to Black Orchid. He was selling this on eBay. It's a 30ml bottle. I think it's half full. It's about 15ml in here. It's an old boozy scent with soft powdery florals. So it's musky, definitely softer than Black Orchid. And I think there's a bit more of a sweetness than Black Orchid as well. It has a soft floral, a bit too musky and dense for a warmer day, but you know, each to their own. I have actually been spraying it a lot in the evenings. It's a really satisfying scent. Yeah, really enjoying that. That is Tom Ford. That is Velvet Orchid. Okay, so the time has come for me to move on to the unopened blind purchases. I'm a bit nervous, but I need to make some room. This first fragrance I got it's actually from the Next Directory website, and they do a whole different range of fragrances. And they did one that I had actually been looking into, so I was really, really pleased. Hang on, I'm just trying to open it off camera because it's too big. And only recently I saw the lovely Demi Rowling talk about it on her channel, and she was talking about fragrances that she'd recently started loving. It made it sound really beautiful, and she put it back on my radar, and so I thought I'd go for it. It's by Annick Goutal, and it's called Nuit et Confidence. It's basically a vanilla fragrance. Now, I've said before, I'm not a heavy vanilla lover. I don't like straight up vanilla fragrances, and at least the ones that smell like, you know, typical vanilla candles, blah blah blah, you know, vanilla cake, that kind of thing. I've started to appreciate vanilla more, and I fancied a boozy vanilla, so I thought I'd give it a go. Let's get into this one, shall we? This is the third. No, it's 50ml. This is the 50ml. Here we go. Okay, is that just adorable or what? As I've said, it is a vanilla fragrance, and hang on, let's just see if we can get the, yeah, that's come off. Just give it a few sprays to get the get it through. Here we go. Right, I'm going to spray this on my wrist, let it settle down. Okay, this is very light. It's not a straight up sweet creamy vanilla. It's got a slightly fruity touch to it. It's very light, very airy, very pleasant. Yeah, I'm gonna have to see how that develops, or if it develops at all, and how long that really does last. I've heard the projection and the performance isn't the best on this, which is why I kind of went for it and blind bought it, because if it was a heavy, strong vanilla with lots of character, it wouldn't have been a safe blind buy. That is Nuit Air Confidence, and that is the bottle design. And this comes in 100ml as well. It is such a sweet little bottle though. Okay, let's move on to our next blind buys. This is a huge box, so I'm never going to get it in the shot. So this is based on other reviewers talking about these fragrances and then piquing my interest. Okay, so they're both by Dolce & Gabbana. This is Garden. A bit impulsive, but again, it's inexpensive. I got these from a website that were doing really, really good prices on both these fragrances. And in fact, this one is, I think this is a 75ml. The other one I've got is a 30ml, and they were the same price. Really pretty bottles. That is one of the reasons that I kind of decided to go for it. So this is Garden, and it has the little rose top, bottle top on here, and it has the Garden written there. I'm really nervous. I don't want to spray it. Let's just go for it. I still smell that vanilla, so that's not a bad thing. Hang on, I'm going to come off. Okay, here we go. Let's just give it a chance to settle. Yeah, she's not hiding, this one. She's sort of letting you know that she's there straight away. Now, what I've heard about this is that it's very coconutty and very, not a typical garden flower. This is more sort of your exotic garden with coconut and other sorts of florals. I hate to say synthetic, but it smells very synthetic to me. Definitely not a love. This one is really starting to come alive on my skin, and it is really, really lovely. It's trying to compete with Garden. It's probably not a fair assessment right now. I'm gonna have to come back on this one. At the moment, it's a very generic fruity floral. There's something in this which I'm not sure about. It's something that's a bit piercing and a bit synthetic. I don't know if it's the coconut or whether it's another note. There's just something I'm not quite sure about. So from the same house, fingers crossed we'll have some luck here. Okay, this is Peony, the one I love. I wish I got the 75ml of this instead. But it doesn't matter. That's what happens when you blind buy. You just have to roll with the punches, really. This bottle I prefer. Okay, there she is. Isn't that beautiful? So, so pretty. I need to find a piece of arm that's not been sprayed on. Okay. Now this one I like more. This one actually is more of it's something familiar that I'm liking instantly. This one is slightly brighter. I think there's a plum note in here. I think my nose has gone on strike. I literally can't smell anything anymore. Yeah, this one's much fresher. I don't know all the notes. I know there's plum, there's clearly peony. A little bit green in this one as well, I think. It's very, very light. Getting a slight magnolia from this. As my nose is going to sleep, I think we need to wrap this up. This one I like, and I think would be a nice easy reach for everyday use, spring and summer. This one is in fact a really beautiful vanilla, but this might end up being somebody's birthday present this year. There you go, that's all the fragrances I have to show you. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. If you've got any of these fragrances, let me know which ones. I'd love to know your thoughts on them, and what has been your most recent purchase. I'd absolutely love to know. That is all. I shall leave you there. Take care, and I shall see you soon.